Just so everybody
Recording
knows
in
the
progress.
agenda, we came out of non-public early. We're gonna do the discussion on Eastern Corners Road. That's a board discussion. Then we'll have privilege of the floor. Then we'll go back into non-public to finish what we needed to finish. And then this privilege of the floor, I'm assuming is what a lot of folks are here for, but if anyone wants to stay through the next non-public and through, not in it, but then through the rest of the meeting, they can. It's a long one tonight. Okay, so we'll move to the agenda item, Eastern Corners Culvert, for an update from Kate.
Did you see the email that was in the board packet? So, Matt, Avera and I met with UNH Culvert Maintenance Team, Marilee and Scott Kinnaman. They took pictures, they looked at the ditching and the large culvert, at the end of, I don't know the end, but by the Bates Building, all of that. And then they looked at the culvert that's across, from, Mike's house. They wanted to talk with a gentleman at UNH called Chris Alpert, who is their lead trainer on culvert maintenance and installation. He also, I guess, has DES ties of some sort. I think he works with them, and they said something about he has certification with them. And so we had some questions for him. I hoped that they would have a report ready for us by tonight's meeting, but they told me they'd have one ready for the January meeting. That's what that email states. They also stated that they want to verify if we need to get DES permitting to finish the ditching down to the end where the larger culvert is, because they think that even though they can tell that it was there before, they think it might have been too long now, and it now needs to have permitting done. So we are waiting to hear back whether or not we can just install a culvert and have it go down the rest of the way or not.
Okay. Does any of the board have any questions or any comments?
They also, we also sent them the mapping, and they looked at mapping too with Access GIS there, to look at the topography and things, and they were taking those with them so that they could figure out different scenarios and things like that.
Different options.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want to give them a copy of the email?
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Mike, do you want a copy of the email?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I mentioned to you 2 weeks ago is the goal here is to find a resolution. Unfortunately, there's red tape and all the stuff that towns have to go through to try and get it resolved.
Well, and DES said that they were supposed to come out for that first snowfall, but then they never
But they
got
never did.
it out there, and I tried contacting, I haven't heard from them since, so.
So we're still focused on it, working on it, and yeah. I think when we talked that day, I thought we'd be able to just do that end of the last ditch and put the culvert in and whatever. And then UNH said, whoa, it's been more than 2 years, we need to check on that.
Well,
So-
who's responsible for that? Why was it filled in the first place? And I remember I addressed this 2 years prior to
Yeah.
having
No,
this.
Mike, we're on board with you, we're on the same
I know,
page.
but where's the guy who filled it in? Like, do you understand that, like, the last rainstorm, my basement flooded, and then she's predicting in April, after we have the whole defrost, and I still have to go through all of that again?
April
I had
4th.
said that I wanted to send that by April, I was hoping to have
Yeah.
them to have all their things, 'cause I don't think we'll be able to do some of the work in the middle of winter if we have a bunch of snow. So, and Matt is in agreement with me, we wanna get it done, like, this is not something we wanna keep up, we wanna get it done,
Mhm.
so.
Well, I don't understand if the person filled in the ditch when they weren't supposed to, why is he not being held accountable? Because my property's being damaged, my neighbor's property's being damaged, my other neighbor's
Well, we
property.
can't speak to personnel matters in public.
Yeah, but that gentleman's not here. He dug a ditch in front of my house We were all in agreement, we're all there, he dug it way too deep and that water fills up. And just last week when we had all that rain, that water came into my basement. And now they're saying they can't do anything because there's snow on the ground. I don't, I understand that things take time, but this has taken way more time than it should. And I thought this would be a quick situation where they would dig that out and we just walk away from this and be done. But again, we're still talking about this and no one's giving me an up-to-date on anything.
So this is the first time we're getting an update from the UNH, that, on that, and we still are waiting for their report. And that, yeah, so that's where we're at with it.
I don't really understand why UNH has anything to do with this town. I understand that the guy might have an influence on culverts, but you hire people that should have these culvert license and they should be putting them in proper. They shouldn't be filling them in and causing damage to people's homes.
UNH is where we go through to have them doing their maintenance and getting their certification. So we brought them in, Mike, because they're the ones that will be telling us, like, yes, they're doing it right, or no, they aren't doing what we told them to do, and this is what we should do. And the same thing is they said that they have a specialist who works especially in areas with wetlands, so we wanna get, are we doing, or, cause I can't get, DS does not respond in a timely fashion, which you said you understand too.
I understand.
They said they're up behind. So if they have an inside man who can talk to them and tell us like, no, these are the steps you need to take, so we're not out of compliance with the state, then I wanna make sure we're doing it right the first time. You are correct though, I thought that ditch would be finished, the other one that you're talking about, unfortunately, it's not, and we will get it done as soon as I possibly can.
And then the other thing is the reason we were on board on getting UNH in here is a professional third opinion beyond
What did the
our
engineer
highway
say?
department.
I thought we were bringing in an engineer and this engineer was gonna walk.
Well, the engineer came in and said, no, that's not the cause of the water going towards your house. The water, he said that the water coming towards your house and said the ditch was fine and done right. And that's what the engineer said, and said the water coming to your house is coming from the wetland. We also, and I'll just repeat it, because just the reason we brought in UNH was to get a third party opinion beyond our, beyond our highway department, right? To see what we had for, to get, to resolve the issue,
Right, which is the discussion that the three of us had that.
Yeah. So,
People that struck these people
okay,
out.
so the ditch work that wasn't completed on Mike's side of the road towards the
big
Top.
culvert that's there, the big.
towards the big piping culvert,
Like John.
that's still gonna try and get done, not by April, by,
No, I'm waiting for them to tell me if we're gonna need to get a permit or not from DES.
okay,
Because that's the one they said that they're, because
That's
it's been
with
so
UNH.
long.
Okay.
That, since the culvert's been there, that they.
So why did they start doing it if they,
Yeah.
why did they start digging all that distance without having a permit prior to that?
We
Cause you
have
understand,
the-
you left a hole and now it's
No,
just
that's a
sitting
different,
there.
that's a different part. I'm talking
Okay.
about the one that's right in front of Bates' house that goes down the
Mhm.
straightway. You're talking about the one that comes down the hill on the other side. I'm talking about the one that's on the straightway.
Okay.
There was a ditch there that wasn't cleaned out. You and I had talked about that, and I said I was gonna have them clean it out. They did clean it out, and it gets cleaned out, and then there's that driveway that Bates put in there. And then there's the rest of the way that goes down to the big culvert, that big pipe. I want it so that it goes all the way down underneath the driveway down to that big pipe. That's what it used to be.
Yes.
DES is saying, not DES, the UNH culvert maintainers are saying they need to talk with their expert about, that works with DES, because it's been so long since that ditch was fully down that road, that we might need to get a permit from DES to finish that one, to go underneath his John Bates' driveway there to that big, it's not that very, it's not very long between those two spots. That's what I'm talking about for that piece.
Okay.
Question. Is there already an existing culvert there, or are you guys looking to add one?
No, there was an existing ditch.
are you
there.
talking about where John Bates driveway is?
Correct.
John Bates there's no culvert there.
So he put a driveway in?
Yes, and we've written him a certified letter to
With
put
no
in a
culvert.
culvert
Okay.
to get a he never got a permit for that driveway.
Mhm.
And then
So
the-
he needs to, yeah.
and you can see that there was a ditching that was on the other side that used to be there, that's kind of been overgrown a little bit. And what UNH is saying is they're unsure, because there is a wetland there, and that's considered wetland property, which DES has already told us, whether we now need to get a permit to dig it back out again.
So basically, you're just trying to see if you need a permit to do some existing
Yes.
quote-unquote ditch
Right,
maintenance.
because it
Right.
hadn't been maintained.
Don't know.
They said that there is like, they said that there is, what do you call it, time limits that DES has.
If it's
proposed.
just, I mean, I don't want to, whatever. If it's ditch maintenance, you don't need a permit for it. You do need dig safe, and you won't be able to dig within like 72 hours.
Yeah.
And if for his driveway there, if he didn't get a permit for that driveway, that is the town's right of way. And if he filled it in for say, without getting a permit, then
Yeah,
town
but
has.
beyond the driveway.
Okay, well, still, that's even
Yeah.
better then. That's an existing ditch. You do not need a permit
Well,
to
Well, it's,
do ditching.
yeah, I guess what.
If
the-
that was the case,
We're
this
getting-
DES would be over inundated with permits from thousands of jobs in the state of New Hampshire for municipal roads, of trying to maintain the ditching.
That's what we thought as well, but UNH said they wanted to check with this gentleman, just to be sure, because it's been 2 years since it was maintained.
Which again, doesn't make sense. We've got, I'm sure we've got other ditches in Campton that haven't been
I'm just
maintained in
letting
2
the
years.
coach there
Correct.
check and review.
Okay, so that's where we're at with it, and we're, I don't know where else to go with it. Like, we're doing everything we can, from the jumping through hoops and red tape and trying to do it right, and get it done, and that's where we're at. And it's on me, cause Kate told me that when they couldn't come out last,
On the
was
week
it
of Thanksgiving.
week of Thanksgiving? I said I'd give you a call, cause I was it, and then I frankly spaced it and didn't give you a call. And Kate was, and cause I wanted to call, cause I had just met with you, and I had talked about it, so I was gonna give you a call and let you know the update that they weren't gonna get out there till the week after, and then they didn't do that either, cause of the weather. So it's, okay.
Well, what's the consequence of just digging that out and putting it back to originally the way it was without getting a permit? You're saying all these people are really busy and they can't come out and do it, and it was existing there before, and you don't need a permit to do it, why can't you just do it?
I don't know if there's a fine.
Beg for forgiveness afterwards.
The fine.
Carl.
I mean, I guess it would be a fine from,
Carl, I mean, you're very familiar with the town. Been here your whole life. You used to help the highway department and so forth. Went to help the highway department and so forth. They do not need a permit to do that ditch maintenance. That'd be like saying if right now, if you guys totally ignored Bog Road for the next 6 years and didn't clean the ditches, sure, it's gonna destroy your road and you have the phone ringing off the hook. But you still have every right to go back out there on the 7th year and ditch it.
can the board make a, well, that, you know what?
Have
That's-
UNH write it
yeah.
inside, please.
Okay,
just
can
so
you,
that-
yeah, can you get them to do it as soon as possible? Okay.
Rather than going to the little guy, UNH, why don't you guys call DES?
I have multiple times.
DES won't respond.
But DES does respond, but after a long period of time, and
Mm-hmm.
they told us they were gonna come out, and that was the Thursday, Friday before Thanksgiving week. They said they were gonna promise to come out before the first snowfall, when the first snowfall was on Thanksgiving, and I have not been able to get in touch with them since.
If you look in the Hard Road to Travel book, it will tell you that you don't have to. It's there. That is the Bible for New Hampshire roads.
I guess if they can't respond in a timely manner, you
It's
go out and do
literally,
it.
and that's written in conjunction with UNH. It's literally got every RSA there you can think of for every municipal road.
We can do
Yeah.
anything, I
Alright.
think, we can't
Yeah.
just push it on them, we have to do things the right way, because I'm not gonna get, I don't think the town wants to do a bunch of huge line, I don't think that.
Yeah, I don't know if fine is for the disturbance or whatever.
We can remove
Okay,
it.
privilege of the floor.
Back, I think it was shortly after last town meeting, you guys put a couple surveys out. I think one was for like survey on the roads, which I'm just using that for example, don't care about that. Or one on, people were complaining like when a lot of articles went to secret ballot. It dragged the meeting out. A lot of people were getting uncomfortable. Then it came up the idea of maybe having the meetings on Saturday. And the survey results were 53.5 to 46.5 in favor of having it for Saturday. The people spoke. Why aren't we gonna have it on Saturday?
I think the statistics were,
They were close.
they were close, but
Yeah.
they were also, was it 50 people or something like that?
Why is that?
It was a very small, I don't know why.
We're gonna put it back up?
We sent it out multiple times.
We
And
sent it
just-
out multiple times, we just got very few
Responses.
and
I don't
responses.
think anybody knew.
Did every time come back in
Right,
favor of
but
it?
how do we get them to know? You know,
Totally.
we put it.
I'll take care of it.
We put it
I'll
on.
take care of it. Put it back up, I'll take care of it.
Yeah, but then that also could be swayed too, right? You're putting it out on people that might have the same, you know, like how do for us, it's our email list that everybody can sign up for, and it's our Facebook page. Feel free to repost the Facebook page, you know, the website,
Yeah.
whatever. But we did it multiple times and got very little feedback. So, and that's a huge change. So and let me know if I'm not speaking in, you know, I think the general consensus was that would be a huge change to make when it was so close with such little data, right? So it's either you know.
Stay there Wednesday until midnight or do it on the
Yeah,
Saturday.
or bring it as a warrant article to see what people actually want,
Yeah.
you know, or
You actually
whatever.
don't need a warrant
You don't,
article.
no, it's the board's decision.
Yes.
And the board could decide, but I think it was just not this year, because we felt like we didn't get the feedback.
Did it come back every time in favor of it? Every time you sent it out? You said you sent it out multiple times?
Yeah, but we got 10 responses.
Okay, and if you want to use a good comparison then, when we got 200 people, you'll have tons of people complaining on the streets, online, our taxes are through the roof or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll get 200 people that will show up to a town meeting, and we'll take the votes of just 200 people to vote on a $4+ million budget. So what's the big deal of switching this on maybe 6% difference?
Yeah.
There isn't.
They can choose between SB2, staying till midnight, or doing it on a Saturday. Those are the three choices, I think.
Yeah.
Tell people to remember they.
Those are the
raise their hand,
choices.
say who they are.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting off the privilege of the floor, just for the legal stuff. We need to
Okay.
let us know where, it's 2 minutes, name, and where 3 minutes per person, and the name and your address. Sorry.
Robert Bain, 27 Spring Hill Road.
Yeah.
Carl, what's your opinion on it? You want it to stay Wednesday or Saturday?
I prefer Wednesday evening.
Dan?
Doesn't really matter to me. Like if I had to choose, I think Wednesdays has been consistent in what it's always been, and I think we get a lot more people. I mean, I think we lose a lot of people if we did it on a Saturday.
Sharon?
I said Wednesday for consistency, because when we changed meeting from here up to there previously, people got ticked off because we changed it to a different location. And so we're gonna go through that again. And so consistency is very important, because people say, okay, gotta go vote, and they head for the municipal building, right? Also, it's the school, it's basketball season, and they would, you know, I don't know if that Saturday would even be available because of stuff that's already scheduled for Saturdays during that month.
More?
So I, for all those common sense reasons, I voted for Wednesday.
Okay. More?
I voted for Wednesday as well.
Craig?
I ended up voting for Wednesday because the response we got was not robust enough for
Okay.
me. We
So,
have 53 to 47, but when you look at the number of people who, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
So
I think it falls to a transparency thing, because like it's Wednesday, it's a weekday. It's kind of like you guys having a meeting at 3:30 versus 6 or 6:30. A lot of people can't make it. So Wednesday during the work week, there's probably a lot of people that don't come to this meeting because they can't make it, not because they don't want to over the town
Yeah,
meeting.
maybe.
So then Saturday, I bet north of 85% of the people are off. You would gain more people. But given the consensus where I just asked everybody there, it kind of puts the wrong perception out there to people that, well, we don't care about the survey because we're going to do it this
No,
way
I
anyway.
don't think that's true. We wouldn't have even put, anyway, that's, 3 minutes is up. I don't think that's true at all. I mean, we care, that's why we put out the survey, that's why we talked about it, that's why we discussed it and tried to make the best
It's-
decisions for the town. It might be different than your opinion,
It's just
but you can't tell
perception.
us we don't care.
I should rephrase
Alright.
that. I'm not saying you don't care, but
Alright.
it's perception. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Well, I mean, everybody has their own perception.
Hopefully, they
Is there any
listen
other,
to what we said today.
all right, is there any other privilege of the floor?
I was gonna ask the same question, so I'm good.
Okay. Now we gotta go back to non-public, I'll take them, is this
I can't hear.
C or D and E or both, all three, which, C and D? Yeah, okay,
I got a question.
yeah,
Can you state your name? and
John
your address?
Jablinski,
All right.
556, New Hampshire Route 175, Canton.
Thank you.
yeah,
I spoke to you briefly about, doing line items on federal money that comes into the town and or the school.
Yeah.
And state money.
yeah.
Are we going anywhere with that on our budget?
Yeah, I can talk to, we haven't gotten to that, I don't know, like, I think we talked about how a lot of it's like hard to, represent or see, like, meaning we're mandated to provide a certain service and then the ancillary costs around that service and things like that, but I can talk to Kate about
Talking about
that.
grant money and stuff coming
No,
in?
he's saying the state with our constitution cannot force us to do anything without supplying the money to do it. So he wants to know which line items in our budget has the state mandated to do. So yeah,
And how much money they're giving
and how
us.
much money they're giving versus how much money they're giving us.
Same with the federal government. I mean, we're always
Yeah.
talking about how much money the federal government's giving to the school, but we don't actually
Yeah.
see it in the budget,
Right,
you know?
okay,
I do have a
They
quick
just
question.
ask for X amount of money, but
yeah.
why isn't that included, you know? Like, why isn't that being shown to the town? This is what
Yeah,
we're getting
exactly.
from the feds, so.
That's a good
This
question
isn't
for the
actually
state,
part
too.
of what we're asking you.
Yeah, okay.
That should be showing estimated revenues.
It would be shown in revenues, and the school does break it down, and you can see that's been given to them that's above and beyond the normal
It's
budget.
in estimated revenues, it won't show in the budget lines themselves.
Yeah.
You have to look at the estimated revenues, and that will give you.
And that's a separate,
Right, it's given, that same information is given to you at the same time the budget is calculated.
They have to put the revenues out, you'll see it in their, part of their annual report for the school and things.
Yeah.
so
Okay.
federal funds will be listed,
Yes.
Any funds that the school district or the town.
lottery
city-
funds will be listed,
Any funds.
yeah.
Estimated revenues, remember they're estimated, and we just do the best we can because we don't have any real assurances of what that final payment's
Okay,
gonna
so-
be. So with every budget, there's estimated revenues that can be used to offset that budget,
Yeah,
okay?
but
So
they're,
look- So look for that.
okay, so they're not specifically saying it's,
No,
that's just bulking them all.
It
But
will
that's
list it
bulky.
by line item, by line item, by line item,
Yeah,
who the entity is that's giving us the revenue.
but not what they're paying for.
Well, it should be able to be
Yeah.
explained, but anyways, look for the estimated revenues sheet that we provide you for the town, and the school district provides you for the school district. That'll give you some answers.
Thank you.
Ted Bomasa, 226 Beaverbrook Road. And to expand on what John just said, I'd like to see how much money we get from the state and the federal government, whether it's a town or the school. And if we don't take it, we can get rid of all the mandates, like all the strings that are attached with that. I would like to see if the mandates cost more to implement than the money that they send us, right? Makes sense, right? They send you $5 and it costs $20 to enforce the mandates.
Can you give us an example of the
I can't,
We don't
not,
have any.
not off the top of my head.
We don't have any mandates at the moment.
And the second question I have is, does the school communicate with the town at all?
I have conversations with the principal and things. but-
Selectmen should be at the school board meetings because
Yeah,
they're
I've
all,
attended a
yeah, they're
decent
all
amount in the
draining,
past.
they're all draining out of the same checkbook. And I feel like there's no communication between the two. I just feel that way. I don't know if there is or not. That's why I was asking the
I
question.
mean, we're certainly two different entities, you know, and we, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. But, I've attended board meetings and they've attended these meetings, but,
okay, good.
yeah, I can't tell them how to do their budget or.
No,
you
no,
know, I
that-
can as a
that's not what I'm
citizen
saying.
and I have as a
Yeah, that's not
citizen,
what I'm saying, just
but
a
not as a
communication to get an
resident,
awareness
but-
thing,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And my comment about mandates was more directed at the school, right?
Okay.
They take in
Yeah,
state money
The
and,
town
yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
school has
it's
a
more
ton.
directed at the school.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
One really quick.
You have to
I
say
know,
your name.
Robert Bain, 27 Spring Hill Road. I know in years past, when, you know, taxes were creeping up and stuff, that, you know, you guys would take out of, like, say, $100,000 out of your reserve funds and to help offset it. I mean, because I think it's what, correct me if I'm wrong, Sharon, you probably know, I think every 200,000 you spend is approximately $1 increase per thousand.
About 20 cents.
Yeah, so I mean, something like that, I mean, it's only $1, but when your taxes went up like they've gone up the last 2 or 3 years, $1 is $1. You know, is there any thoughts on that?
The taxes have gone down,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
is it finally 17?
It's still.
Mine hasn't gone down.
preliminary, you guys
No,
have
no,
said
the tax rate was
The
set.
Yeah, the assessment went up and the tax rate went down, it's just a game, right?
Right.
It's a numbers
That's-
game.
Yeah,
that's
so-
what you do. So anyways, it's estimated that the tax rate's gone down about $11.
It has, yeah.
It said it needs to be finalized, it's in the process.
Mhm.
The reval just stalled, and with, DRA there, they had deaths in their families and so, whatever, so we're late, but the tax rate is going down. And yes, we used to have a practice where we'd use some of the undesignated funds. We don't have a slush fund and undesignated funds, because remember the March storm we had where we
So we have to build
immediately.
that percentage back up.
So we need to fill that percentage back up. Plus, the board has changed its philosophy to using some of the undesignated funds to go to pay for items we know we're gonna have to buy next year and not have to raise it from taxation. So that is the better use. And thus, the tax rate's really gonna sky
Yeah.
right.
But
Then-
we
Then
still-
we would consider it, but to, keep the tax rate as stable as we can.
Hmm.
So the new practice is in an effort to keep this tax rate stable. So we don't have to, you have to prove, like for a police cruiser, we usually use undesignated funds. We don't ask you to raise it from taxes. So,
But we still discuss it and whether it's, and
Yeah.
if the numbers changed, meaning our undesignated fund was X amount and meeting those minimum recommendations and we had a big surplus year of money's not spent, then absolutely, I'm sure there's board members that would vote to put money towards it, but this year was definitely not one of those years.
Now, how much is
And I-
DRA? Oh, sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
I've been on, for whatever, 4 or 5 years now, and we've done it in the past, and we haven't done it some years, and this is not a year for
we
it.
just need to look at where
Yeah.
we're financially at the end of each year.
Yeah.
What's the minimum DRA requires? Isn't it like around 900K or something, a
No,
minimum?
it's a
No, it's a
percentage,
It's a percent.
Okay.
It's 5 to 17%.
Okay.
And
How
they
much
highly
is,
recommend 12%.
how much is in there now?
About 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we need to,
So we need to be careful.
because we cut it more than in half, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we
when we had to do
big
that in March.
emergency. Yeah.
Alright, we gotta move on.
What storm are you referring to,
Hold
by
on.
the way?
2020,
That was Michael Turner speaking.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
2021 or 2022?
22,
Yeah, it was
22 storm.
22.
22.
And we're
Same.
starting to get
2022.
The same storm that you
Coming
used the
back.
money to put that culvert in to block out my ditch.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, the money was up, the majority, anyway, the majority of the money was spent on the
Mason
Lower
Road.
Beach and Mason and, anyway, Linda.
Please
Yeah,
state your
Linda
name.
Molinaro, 139 Beaverbrook Road, Hampton. I just have a question about, I had spoken to some of you about the discount for the disabled veterans, and will that be adjusted as the taxes go up?
We have that as a warrant.
I'm looking at different things, we're looking at different warrant articles this year to look at the pricing and stuff. I've been working with the DRA on what other
Yeah.
towns do and things too, so we
Yeah,
are
because
working on-
Rumney they don't even charge 100% disabled veterans any taxes, property taxes at all, so.
Yeah, we've been keeping up
Fund that.
with it. We raised it, I think, 2 years ago, and it's on the docket to look at.
Yeah.
Like, we definitely heard that, and we're looking at, it, and we're making sure we're,
And it requires town vote.
yep, so, warrant articles. Okay, entertain a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A2, 91A3 to